Morning, Mr. Jacobs.
Good morning, Mr. Kunene. How are you doing?
Good yourself.
Good, 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 good. Can you hear background noise on my side?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, but can is there I've got a fan on here at the back, so I just want to know if you can hear that fan also. Otherwise, I'll put it off.
No, no.
No, you can't hear. Okay, good. All right. I'll keep it off
Yeah, no,
till
I
we
can't.
get. All right.
Okay. Hello, Navis.
Hi, Braking, unjani?
Ngikhona njani wena?
Ngikhona nami.
That is Skype. Can you see my screen?
Ewe, I can see it. Agenda, you have portfolio on small business development, opening roll call, second consideration, deliberation, consideration and adoption of committee minutes, 20 March, members of the committee farewell speeches, and then closing remarks. So the agenda is there, it's visible.
Morning, everybody. Greetings.
Good morning.
How are you doing, honorable members?
Morning, Chairperson.
How are you doing? Honorable Kruger, Honorable de
I'm
Villiers,
always great, thank you.
Lupengo. Welcome, Honorable Noran Miller.
Morning, Chairperson.
Everybody. How are you doing? And I know you were ill for a bit. Are you feeling a bit better?
Yeah,
Honorable Lupengo?
today I'm feeling better.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
Thanks.
Are we waiting? I also see and acknowledge our staff, Mr. Mafolo, Mr. Pisa. Welcome, everybody. You'll give me a sense of when we can start, Mr. Kunene.
Yes, Chair.
Colleagues, I can't believe it. We're almost at the end of our time together. So I was just looking at the agenda. Farewell speeches. I hope you all are prepared. This time has been so quick since 2019 till now. Good morning, colleagues. I just want to get a sense if we can start. Do we have a quorum?
If we still have we've got 5 members, 6 with you. I've been trying to call Mr. Melan. Now I'm trying to check Mr. April. I can't get Mr. Melan.
Let's give him a few minutes still.
Mr. Jacobs, I think we can start.
Good morning, everybody. Greetings again. Welcome to the final portfolio
Recording in
committee
progress.
of small business development. I want to wish all our members, our colleagues, and also those that are viewing us from the live stream, welcome to the session. Today, we're dealing with the legacy report, which is a crucial document for guiding future legislative and oversight efforts. It's the 6th administrative legislative report, and we'll go through it in great detail. I want to wish all members very well, and I consider the meeting open, and you all are very welcome to the meeting. Let's start with the roll call and apologies, Raki.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members on the platform. Chairperson, for the purpose of roll call, I've got you. I've got Honorable Mula, Honorable de Villiers, Honorable Kruger, Honorable Lubengo, Honorable Hendricks, and then Honorable April, who has just joined. So those are the members that so far are in the platform. Nkosul Tool will be joining soon. Then on the side of apologies, I received an apology from Mr. Mieni, who indicated that he won't be able to join because he is attending a graduation ceremony of his child. So those are the members that are in the platform, and we've got the officials from Parliament. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think we've noted and accepted all of the apologies. and the roll call. I think we want to immediately go into the legacy report. I think last week we did go through some of the broad strokes of the legacy report. And I think for us, as I said in my introduction, the legacy report serves as a crucial document guiding future legislative and oversight efforts. It's the sixth administration. When we started in 2019, we did get a legacy report of the fifth administration, and it looks at all the oversight in relation to small business development in our country. It also is an important document because it underscores the importance of continuous improvement of government support for small enterprises as a vital contribution for economic growth and employment. We hope that these recommendations that we will hopefully pass at the end of the session is provided to aim to address the challenges, the past challenges, and also optimize our future opportunities for small business within the South African legislative and policy framework. So with that introduction, I want to also invite our team led by Mr. Gumede. I want to thank you in advance for a very well done, very comprehensive report. I want to now invite you to take members again through the report. And then before we look at inputs from members. So over to you, Mr. Gumede.
Morning, Chairperson. Morning, honorable members. King, can I have the sharing rights? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Sure. You will then guide me in terms of the approach, in terms of today's approach. Last week, we went through the entire document. You made some observation and remarks which were incorporated into the document. In terms of the body of the document itself, there are not much issues that you wanted us to correct, to amend or subtract, except in terms of the recommendations. Now, I'm not sure if you want me to go through the entire document or should we just zoom straight to recommendations. If you could please guide me in that regard, Chair. Thank you.
I think members have gone through it, and I think people have. We've got a process to give you feedback. So I would, if members agree, I would encourage us to go through the observations and recommendations, and maybe spend a bit more time on those things. Look, I think we're very happy with the executive summary because it did outline the Parliament's constitutional mandate. I think we got that. How do we monitor government performance? We also looked at highlighting the community efforts to support small businesses and its initiatives. So I think we've gone through, the report is very comprehensive. So I think if members are okay with that, we can focus on the recommendations. So I'm comfortable with that. Please proceed, Mr. Gumede.
No, that's fine, Chairperson. Thank you very much. Chair, I've prepared about 20 recommendations. You'll recall that in the last meeting, it was only bullet points, but what I've done now is to number them in terms of maybe 15.1 to 15.20. I've also, looking at what we did at the beginning of the term, with regards to the thematic areas, also incorporated some of the recommendations that were made in that regard. What I also did with the recommendations, I tried as I could to give context, because in terms of how the report is structured, it does not necessarily give one much space. So I thought it's going to be important that before you come up with the recommendations, you must also give context in terms of why we are making that particular recommendation. Chair, I will read all of them. It's only 20. then we'll see if your inputs or your contribution that you shall have made last week are also incorporated adequately. The first one, Chairperson, the Seventh Parliament should consider developing a system or tool for the facilitation, monitoring, and tracking of executive responses to the committee recommendations and resolutions. It should also guarantee that recommendations have specified timeframes for the executive to respond. The next Parliament is advised to consider imposing measures in its rules that would make the recommendations obligatory or binding. 15.2, instability at the senior management service level during the 6th term characterized the department and affected the service delivery and subsequently the effectiveness of the committee's oversight over the department. Since 2014, the department could not keep an accounting officer, in brackets, Director General, for more than 24 months and relied on different acting personnel for those periods that it did not have an accounting officer. In addition, throughout the financial years, there were always vacancies at the DDG level and other SMS levels, which impacted decision-making. The committee observed throughout the current term that the majority of underspending on financial indicators was due to employee compensation as well as goods and services owing to vacant posts. Consequently, all 4 of the department's programs underutilized their funding allocations, mostly as a result of unfilled funded posts. The 7th Parliament should constantly monitor such recurring challenges and get regular briefings on vacancies, particularly at SMS level, while ensuring that the department fills critical and SMS level posts with qualified and competent people to reduce reliance on consultants. The third recommendation, Chair, the committee applauded the department for having reliably paid 100% of its invoices within 30 days in terms of the PFMA Act. This is one indicator where the department excelled throughout its term. However, as a guardian of the small enterprise sector in the country, the committee had to constantly remind the department that it has a duty and obligation to ensure that all other state organs comply with this directive. The committee is urging the 7th Parliament to ensure that the department launches an indicator for implementation in collaboration with National Treasury to track delinquent invoices. Where state organs are failing to pay uncontested invoices within 30 days, SEFA must be on standby to pick up the tab through, among others, session arrangements. The 7th Parliament should ascertain and monitor that this indicator is encompassed in the upcoming strategic plan and APP of the department. The next one, Chair, at the commencement of the term, the committee had planned to hold a finance symposium with banks and other commercial lenders, angel investors, venture capitalists, fintechs, MFIs, RFIs, development finance institutions, and various associations involved in SMME funding space to better understand the policy environment in which they could invest. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic put this plan on shelf indefinitely. The 7th Parliament should encourage and support the department's endeavor to expand strategic alliances with the corporate sector and vigorously pursue outside funding alternatives, particularly for startups. With SMME credit gap of over 300 billion, the department and SEFA should explore alternative and innovating financing models, such as invoice discounting, cession of contracts and income, in order to unlock the balance sheet of commercial banks. Due to severe budgetary restrictions, the department and SEFA are unable to support millions of small enterprises. The upcoming committee should keep an eye on the department's and agents' strategic plan and APPs to ensure that this recommendation is being followed through. The role of fintech and incubators should feature prominently in the programs and activities of the department and entities. Well, an entity chairperson, let's pray that the president sign the bill into an act so that SEDA, CIFA, and CBDA are amalgamated into a single agency. Then the next one, 15.5, the committee devoted a significant amount of time studying various market access interventions for SMMEs and cooperatives. Access to markets is one of the key areas where the committee felt the department could have done more. For instance, at the beginning of its term in 2019, the committee had stressed to the department that special attention should be paid to enterprise and supply development and other BBBEE codes of good practice, which were or are still being used by big corporates as a compliance checkbox that bring little or no value to the ecosystem of small businesses. While on its part, the committee has been seized with this subject matter. It held sessions with SETAs, with SPAR, with Shoprite and Pick n Pay, to name the few, to explore policy areas that facilitate partnership between big business as well as SMME and cooperatives. The committee is pleased with the partnerships built with these corporations and appeal to the 7th Parliament to continue to promote these initiatives. In order to harness the good intentions of ESDs and ensure that it is carried out, the department should strengthen internal capacity to drive this program. 15.6, in South Africa, very few instruments exist to induce the private sector to partner with small businesses. For instance, the transformation sector charters are optional and non-binding instruments. Notably, the key and lucrative sector of the economy, which is wholesale and retail, do not have such charters, yet the sector lags behind in transformation efforts. Ironically, neighboring countries like Namibia, wholesale and retail charter is in existence, and SA retailers like SPAR are obliged to conform to them. Access to markets is no myth for small enterprises. It remains a key test for small businesses alongside access to finance. The committee is of the view that a dedicated and comprehensive market strategy should be developed by the department. Having a robust market access strategy fully in place is extremely essential for a number of reasons. I'm just making an example there that it encompasses many dimensions that provides a holistic assessment, including identify access to barriers, insights and opportunities. It demonstrates market viability. It provides platform for long-term vision. It leads to a variety of answers. It affords all key and relevant stakeholders to sing from the same hymn sheet and avoid second-guessing each other's decisions. Not only is the strategy important, it also requires a new cross-functional approach that is crucial to the department mandate of streamlining and coordinating various stratas of the state into a well-oiled machine that runs itself. The 7th Parliament should encourage the department to include this indicator in its forthcoming strategic plan and APP. 15.7, the government cumulative spending is roughly over R1 trillion annually. Nonetheless, only a fraction of that spending goes to small enterprises. On paper, the government wants to fast-track the implementation of the 30% procurement policy of government contracts for SMMEs and cooperatives. As a spokesperson and chief guardian of the sector, very little intervention have been proposed or put forth by the department in this respect. Also, there are very few initiatives to ensure that a significant amount of projects is allocated to SMMEs and cooperatives. There has to be a compliance by government departments with this policy. The department, in collaboration with the National Treasury, needs to craft a systematic approach or framework to monitor adherence to this policy. The National Treasury is currently finalizing the procurement bill. The bill is making a number of propositions to streamline and modernize procurement to achieve government goals. The Seventh Parliament should monitor the implementation of the Act to ensure that it favors SMMEs and cooperatives. During its tenure, the Sixth Parliament Committee strongly advocated for a responsive and progressive procurement bill that enhances market access but also reduces barriers to entry for SMMEs and cooperatives, such as outlawing the sale of tender documents, for all state tenders to be advertised and tender documents downloaded from e-tender portal, the phasing out of requirements for experience on enterprises owned by women and youth, the phasing out of requirements for financial capability on state tenders, the phasing out of compulsory physical briefing sessions where virtual sessions are feasible, introduction and infusion of various financing instruments such as cession of income, stroke contracts, and invoice discounting, to name the few. The next one, 15.8, Chair. Throughout the sixth term, the committee dealt with several challenges triggered by small business, lack of access to reputable business premises that meet manufacturing standards. This is a common bottleneck across the SMME and cooperative spectrum. The committee noted in its deliberations that most private sector players and government require production or processing areas that meet, amongst others, the HACCP requirements, the ISOs, the SABS, the organic content or ethnic religious requirements such as halal or kosher. Furthermore, safe and reliable distribution centers that meet the retailers' food packaging and handling requirements, as well as Department of Health safety requirements, are vital in meeting the private and public sector demands. The creation of district shared multipurpose distribution center could be explored jointly by DAF, DBE, DCS, and Rural Development, as well as Department of Small Business Development. The state owns thousands of dilapidated buildings, industrial and manufacturing complexes, business premises, and farms that require rehabilitation. During the seventh administration, the department needs to scale up its shared economic infrastructure facility, in brackets SIF, to respond to these challenges. Some of these may be achieved through structured partnerships, signing of MOUs with the likes of the Department of Public Works, the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and many other stakeholders already active in this space. The Seventh Parliament should interrogate the department's 2024-2029 strategic plan to ensure that this indicator is indeed incorporated. The next one, 15.9, the Sixth Parliament flagged red tape as an area of attention as it believed it was one of the biggest constraints on economic opportunity, business investment, and job creation. At the start of its term, the committee had sought to dissect and analyze common bottlenecks affecting small enterprise sector from realizing full potential. The committee had then re-examined all previous government initiatives aimed at eliminating red tape, such as the regulatory impact assessment, socio-economic impact assessment system, guidelines for reducing municipal red tape, and initial red tape reduction strategy developed by the department. It concluded that none of these interventions were producing favorable environment considering the rate at which small enterprises were disappearing. In the middle of the sixth term, the committee welcomed and applauded the appointment of Mr. Sipho Nkosi, a seasoned business expert, to assist the government eliminate red tape that stifle small business growth. However, the excitement was short-lived. Not much headway has been recorded in that respect. Small enterprises are battling under pressure of having to comply with a slew of legislative, policy, regulatory requirements, procedures, and standards. The 7th Parliament needs to adopt a ruthless approach to eradicating red tape. It is suggested that the establishment of a parliamentary ad hoc committee should be strongly considered in order to put together tangible plans for implementation by government-wide departments and agencies in dealing with the red tape. Then 15.10, according to data from Stats SA, over 1,300 businesses in South Africa shut their doors in 2023. There may be other underlying causes for this regrettable trend, but the impact of load shedding on South African businesses cannot be undervalued. SMMEs, as well as large global corporations, have all been impacted. On 17 January 2023, the department announced, this was the minister making this announcement, the department announced that it was immediately working on an energy relief package for the small, medium, informal, and micro sectors in partnership with its agencies and various stakeholders within and outside government. The contents of the package, as well as the requirements and avenues for applying for relief, were to be revealed almost immediately after the announcement. Not much progress has been made in this regard. The 7th Parliament must pace with the implementation of this relief package in an effort to arresting widespread obliteration of the small enterprise sector. Then the next one, 15.11, the department has been slow in the development, implementation, and reviewing of existing policies and strategies. Other notable areas of progress, but remains incomplete, are SMME and funding policy, which was gazetted for public comments in April 2023. So is the National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Strategic Framework, where the department embarked on consultation sessions with key role players in the small enterprise ecosystem to solicit inputs to the finalization of the NESET strategic framework. Towards the end of the 6th term, the committee was alerted that the department is finalizing the SMME and cooperative funding policy, which is currently being processed through structures such as NEDLAC, Economic Cluster, and ultimately the Cabinet in order to be implemented in the next 2024-2025 financial year. Honorable members, this is one of the indicators for implementation during the current MTSF. The feedback that we have now received from the department is that this indicator will now only be implemented in the next financial year or the next MTSF period. The 7th Parliament should ensure that the SMME and cooperative funding policy, among others, are expedited and implemented as they are critical to resolving various concerns about a lack of access to financing. Then 15.12, over the course of its tenure, the committee has on numerous occasions expressed concern at the simmering tension between local and illegal foreign-owned businesses. Honorable Kruger, you are accommodated here. To date, there have been 2 ad hoc committees of Parliament, both of which have identified a lax regulatory environment. Both ad hoc committees that looked into xenophobic attacks, first in 2008 and secondly in 2015, came to the conclusion that small business regulation in the nation, such as the granting of trading permits and business licenses to illegal foreigners or those posturing as asylum seekers, was a significant source of conflict and needed to be addressed through policy or legislative intervention. It is a common practice around the world to not grant permits and licenses to immigrants, be it legal or illegal, in fields that should be reserved for South Africans. The committee observed in the course of its term that there is no legislative or policy to safeguard or reinforce actions that provide effective protection to township and rural enterprises. while similar legislative and regulatory instruments exist in other countries, we are making an example here that we do have such regulations and policies in Zimbabwe, Botswana, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, etc. Furthermore, in its engagement with the sector, the committee found that the spaza shop owners and informal traders are the most regulated and least protected, while most trade illegally due to not being given licenses by local municipalities and metros. The 7th Parliament should push the department to table the Business Amendment Bill without any further delay. This is not to argue that the bill should usurp or supersede constitutional powers of the local government. However, this is a minefield. Uniformity and policy certainty is to a great extent needed urgently in this area. Then 15.13, cooperative development and support remained a constant area of concern for the committee during the 6th term. For instance, the committee noted with great concern that during the 1st of April 2021 to 31 March 2022, not even a single cooperative was funded by CIFA. When pressed by the committee to justify this anomaly, the department had contended that open quotes, CIFA's balance sheet is limited and cannot afford to offer 100% grants to SMMEs and cooperatives, close quote. It had further identified the source of challenges being that, open quote, the blended finance system that is used to fund cooperatives makes it difficult for many cooperatives to qualify and have access to the funds available to them, due to the fact that through blended finance, cooperatives have to have a positive or healthy credit score, close quote. Yet the department failed to devise mechanism or mitigating strategy to deal with the problem. At some point, the department itself underspent its budget meant for cooperatives by 75 million rands. The committee strongly urges the 7th Parliament to make sure that strategic plans of the department and entities consist of clear-cut programs aimed at assisting cooperatives. It should closely monitor quarterly and annual reports in ensuring that cooperatives receive necessary support from the department and agencies. Then 15.14, throughout its term, the committee bemoaned the absence of ministers in its meetings due to overlapping of cabinet meetings, which were usually held on Wednesdays mornings. It is critical that the 7th Parliament and administration consider this issue and work to establish convenient times that do not place ministers under undue strain to attend two crucial meetings at the same time. Then 15.15, lifestyle audits are an essential management technique for preventing, detecting fraud and corruption in public service. They also contribute to ensuring that the lives of state employees are commensurate with their remuneration. In April 2021, the government established and approved mandatory guidelines for all audits of public officials in national and provincial departments, as well as SOEs. The 7th Parliament should enforce implementation of this policy by the department and entities. 15.16, there should be continuous monitoring of the department and entities to implement the audit improvement plans, have functioning internal audit committees in place, as well as implement consequence management as advised by the Office of the Auditor General of South Africa and recommended by this committee in all its BRRR reports. Then 15.17, the committee should conduct regular oversight visits. The report into investigations on the Northwest oversight visit and the recommendations should be followed up, and all those found in the wrong side of the law must be held accountable. The Committee on Small Business Development has traditionally not been one of those committees of Parliament that have been afforded ample space to conduct periodic oversight visits Yet one of its responsibilities is to look after the government purse. The departments and entities' programs are tailored to provide financial assistance. Hence, in all the oversight missions the committee has undertaken since the 5th Parliament. Okay, let me read this sentence again. Hence, in all the oversight missions the committee has undertaken since the 5th Parliament, the committee's oversight inspections have consistently shown wrongdoing and misappropriation of funds intended for the recipients. 15.18, towards the end of the 6th Parliament, there was a noticeable decline in audit findings, particularly for SEFA. To arrest further decline in audit findings of the agencies, the 7th Parliament must watch closely the extent to which the agencies implement the Auditor General's recommendations. The accounting authorities / the Board of Directors must be held accountable for improving controls, for proper record keeping and ensuring the complete, relevant and accurate information is accessible and available to support performance data. Through the tracking tool, the 7th Parliament should make certain that the management responds to the AG's requests with requisite agency in addressing identified risks and improving internal controls, which will improve audit outcomes for both the department and entities. The 7th Parliament or the 7th Parliament Committee is urged to conduct a focused oversight on the governance and institutional stability of agencies in terms of a full constitution of the board, separation of powers between the board and staff of the entity, following up on the findings of the AG and ensuring the entity is fully and appropriately staffed to enable it to execute its legislated mandate. Then 15.19, following the oversight visit to the Northwest Province, the committee emphasized the importance of the SEFA board to consider amendments to the policy guidelines to include a condition for MFIs and RFIs to be licensed by both NCR and FSCA as authorized FSPs. The committee found that the NCR licensing process is defective in that it focuses solely on the entity or corporation as a legal person, whereas the FSCA approach, it encompasses both the firm and the individual behind the company. The majority of NCR licensed companies are led by directors who do not necessarily meet the criterion of fit and proper. The 7th Parliament must see to it that this recommendation is implemented without delay. Then the last one, honorable members, at the time of concluding the legacy report, the committee learned from the AG, this was during the last appearance before, that was in October last year, that the portfolio had only achieved 67% of its MTSF targets, implying a non-achievement of about 33% of MTSF targets. The committee should monitor and ensure that the remaining targets are incorporated for accomplishments in the next MTSF periods. Chairperson, those are 20 recommendations that I've tried to come up with. They also incorporate, for instance, the contributions that were made by members during last week's sessions. For instance, Honorable Kruger wanted us to clarify that to differentiate between immigrants and illegal immigrants. There was also an issue with regards to the ministers, not just the current minister, but you shall have observed that all the ministers, they struggled to attend the meetings of the committee throughout the 6th Parliament due to the fact that our meetings were overlapping with the meetings of the cabinet. So we are making a recommendation in that regard that maybe it's one of the issues that the 7th Parliament should pay particular attention to. Also, Honorable Chairperson, there were a couple of contributions that you made around incubators, which have been incorporated. the fintechs, the issue of licensing, which is covered under the Business Amendment Bill. I think that's all that I can pick up for now. But basically, all the recommendations, Chairperson, have been incorporated in this report under recommendations. As I indicated at the beginning of my presentation as well, I've also made an effort to give a context to the recommendations so that anybody or anyone who has not been part of this committee easily understand why we are making these particular recommendations. I will pause there for now, Chairperson, and perhaps take questions from members if there are any. We still call this, Chairperson, a final draft legacy report, meaning members are not barred to make any further comments in the document, even though the plan is to adopt it this morning, but we have always adopted the document on condition that we incorporate whatever suggestion or contribution members would make. Chair, I also need a permission, apologies. Chair, I also need a permission because there is one important deliverable that is still pending before NCOP. I need members to allow me to make maybe any changes in the document depending on the way the NCOP will decide in terms of the bill that is currently before them. I understand there was a meeting yesterday, Braking. I'm not sure what would be the next step going forward. Maybe before we give an opportunity to members to ask any questions or make any contribution, maybe we need to clarify that, Braking, on behalf of the members. But from my side is to request a permission from members to allow me to make, I don't think it will be substantial changes in the document, but just to align it with the decisions that the NCOP would have taken. Let me pause there for now, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gumede. A very comprehensive set of recommendations. It's almost as if you didn't want members to make additional inputs. It's very comprehensive. So, members, here you have it. Without preempting, I think it's important that we put our voices in the room, and I want to invite hands on these recommendations. Great inputs around the 20 recommendations, and it covers a whole range of issues, but let me not preempt. Let me encourage members now to give their inputs, and also I think respond to the indulgence that given the flexibility of the NCOP process and the legislative process, the leeway that is required to capture whatever is going to come out of that process later on. So I think that's the two things that we want your responses on. Let me get a show of hands, members. You'll just help me identify the hands. Let me look. Okay, so
Honorable Zungula's hand is up.
okay, thank you. Honorable Zungula, you first. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings to yourself, the committee, and the officials in the committee. First, I want to applaud the team for presenting this report. I think it's well thought and covers a lot of things. Perhaps I would make a few suggestions on 15.3, because in my view, whilst we can applaud the department for paying invoices within 30 days. But I think we need to say something about, in fact, we need to advocate that the payment of the invoices within 30 days, it is something that must be backed up by legislation for all of the departments, entities, etc. Yes, the department, because it understands the plight of small businesses, but I think it would be critical that when it comes to the other state organs, it must not be a question of we just encourage them. There must be some form of legislation, failing which the people that are failing to honor that part of the legislation, there are some penalties. So that was the first one on 15.3. And then the second one, it is 15.7. For me, it's a question there on the question of the 30%, that what informs the 30%, perhaps it could have been discussed in the meetings, but I just wanted to find out what informs the 30%. And secondly, when it comes to there's a part there that says the government needs to craft a systematic approach or framework to monitor adherence to this policy. Perhaps that could be in line with my other contribution to 15.3, whereby we push as much as possible that what has been discussed and agreed to a large extent, must be backed up by policy or law to make sure that departments are able to be held accountable. Then the last one, I'll tell you now, I think it's 15. Yeah, 15.12. The issue concerning the local and illegal foreign-owned businesses. There was a commitment from the department whereby the minister stipulated they are going to push, or they are going to hire business inspectors, because largely the issue there is the lack of enforcement on the law in relation to small business owners that are coming from outside of the country. Because as we all know, that the legislation that informs the conditions that permit business owners or non-South Africans to trade in South Africa, there are those minimum requirements. But what is lacking, it is inspectors or people that are going to enforce those regulations. I think the minister also made an example how in the Department of Employment and Labor, there are labor inspectors that occasionally go to different companies and make sure that those companies are having employment practices that are in line with our labor laws. But when it comes to the small businesses, there is no business inspectors that are equally playing a similar role, whereby they go to a tuck shop, a spaza, a hardware, general dealer, a salon, and just verify if the conditions that are required for a person to trade in South Africa for a non-South African or a foreigner have been met. So perhaps maybe if we can add that part, because it is something that was spoken about by the minister, just to stipulate that maybe the next committee needs to lead the process of holding the department accountable for their commitment on this issue. And then yeah, I think that is it. That is it. Thank you so much, Chair. I think I've made the contributions, but again, it might not be specific, but maybe the contribution as well would be the one about the oversight visits. That I want to just add my voice there to say they do help a lot when it comes to issues dealing with SMMEs, We remember when there was the floods in KZN, I think it was the looting, yes, the unrest in KZN, and the the committee did oversight. It played a critical role in terms of the assistance to SMMEs. So for me, it was just to add my voice on that one, nothing specific when it comes to the particular recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Zungula. I note Honorable de Villiers and then Honorable Kruger.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, colleagues. I would like to definitely start by echoing the sentiments expressed by Honorable Zungula, that I think this is a well put together document. A lot of, excuse me, a lot of work has gone into it. And I enjoyed reading through the recommendations and looking at them and getting the presentation this morning. And I agree with most of what is said here. There is, however, one omission which I would like to ask we put into the recommendations. Last year, quite early in the year, in February, the Minister announced an energy relief package specifically for small and medium enterprises. Now, I mean, there's no one here that I think would disagree with me that there is no bigger problem for SMMEs than load shedding. There's no bigger crisis to run any small business than energy instability, than having to deal with either waiting for load shedding to begin and end, or running diesel generators, which just drives up your cost, or other alternatives. And there was a lot of excitement from the public and from us as the committee as well, when the Minister announced that there would be an energy relief package. And although we've talked about it and asked about it in subsequent meetings, nothing has come of it. It has completely disappeared like the mist. And I think that it is something which we cannot ignore. It really is the most important issue in the life of any business owner at the moment, is energy insecurity. You cannot run a business without a stable and reliable and affordable electricity supply. So I would like to plead with the committee that we add a paragraph to the recommendations that says that the Minister must please rush and urgently go ahead with the plan and energy relief, that budgets and current programs must be redesigned to accommodate this very important package, because our entrepreneurs, our small business owners are suffering because of lack of electricity. It's the number one issue in their lives. So I really think it would be wrong of us to not have a recommendation in our report which speaks to the fact that the small business development department must and should have a energy relief package in place, like they announced last year they would, and we have not seen. So I really cannot stress this enough. We need to have a recommendation that small businesses need the Minister to go through with a plan for an energy relief package. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Kruger.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, you will see I put my hand down, but I am covered now at the moment, and I also want to echo the rest, your sentiments about the report. I think it's a job well done, and maybe our content advisor must maybe think it over. Maybe he must become a politician. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, no, he's making our job very redundant. It's like the artificial intelligence. There's nothing for us left to say. I note the whip, Honorable Thromilang.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. I hope I'm audible, Chair.
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, morning, colleagues. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome the report and indeed agree that it is a well-informed report that has captured all the activities of what has happened during the 6th Parliament and its administration chairperson. And I also want to agree with the recommendations that has been made to us as this portfolio committee to say they do lead us to the next or the 7th Parliament. Us is just to make sure that we add whatever that has been left, but most of the time, I can say 95%, the report is accurate, captured all the activities, Chairperson. I want to speak on 2 issues. Chair, let me say the recommendation provided by the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development are both comprehensive and pivotal for the advancement of the small business sector in South Africa. I'm talking about the analysis and the commentary on this recommendation because it highlighted significance and the potential impact. I also want to make a contribution on the development of the monitoring tools. Chair, the call for a system or a tool to monitor the executive responses to committee recommendation is crucial to ensure that there is an accountability and effective implementation of policies. And the last point, Chair, or not the last, I think this monitoring tool could lead us to more targeted and rapid policy adjustment, and it will benefit small business enterprise directly. Addressing the SMS level instability, the instability at the sector management service level has been a long-standing issue, and it has affected the service delivery. So the recommendation for the 7th Parliament says it must monitor and address these vacancies, because if we have vacancies that are not filled, they also affect the services. So filling this vacancy position with incompetent personnel could also lead to improve efficiency and effectiveness in the implementation of the small businesses. My other point will be on the 30 days period, Chairperson. The department consistency in paying invoices within 30 days sets a commendable standard. We want to commend the department on this one. They must continue to do it. And it must expand this practice across all state organs within the mechanism for tracking and enforcement. Remember, if we are not paying them in time, we are killing most of the small businesses that are depending on us. So my last contribution, Chair, if there is something, I will come back again. I want to speak on the issue of the red tape reduction. The proactive approach is needed towards this red tape reduction elimination. Bureaucracy obstacles is necessary because it can help us in creating a more business-friendly environment, and it can establish a parliamentary committee, especially when we're doing the oversight. Remember, most of the small businesses during our consultation on the bill, they were complaining about the red tapes. So we're saying that 7th administration must focus on making sure that they reduce the red tapes. The issue of the energy level package, I think it needs an agent intervention package, because honestly speaking, quick implementation could mitigate some of these adverse effects of load shedding. And remember, some small businesses are dying because of load shedding. And we have said that we want our people to to contribute positively to the economy by being business owners and creating jobs. So when they're starting and we're struggling with the electricity, then their business are dying, which means then we're also killing the business. In conclusion, Chair, I want to say that if all this implementation can be implemented, have the potential to significantly enhance the small business landscape in South Africa, they can address the issue of the system challenges and propose practical intervention to support small business enterprise in various aspects of the operation, from financing to marketing and training and regulatory compliance. The success of this recommendation will largely depend on the commitment and collaborative efforts of all stakeholders involved, Chairperson. I do support the report as presented before us, Chair, with all the additions that I've made. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hlomelang. Let me just check if there's more hands before I also make some comments. Okay, I don't see any further hands. No, I also want to echo the sentiments expressed from members. Well done to Mr. Gumede and the team, or excellent 20 recommendations. I just want to respond to one or two of them. I think good inputs also from my fellow honorable members. The monitoring tool should be welcome, and I think Parliament should apply itself on this. The point about capacity and instability at the SMME level is noted, and it's a compelling reason. And we hope that the President will sign the one entity so that we can bring stability to the sector. It is needed. I like this idea of, sorry, it is a pity that we couldn't do the finance symposium and external funding and get everybody in the room around access to finance, especially from the private sector, because there's a lot of innovation happening there. And it's a great recommendation that we hope the 7th administration would take place. Business infrastructure and premises is also something that we need to get a handle on, and we support the recommendations for government state-owned assets to be consolidated and also to be managed better and also deployed more effectively. I share the sentiments around the energy relief package, but I think the one thing that I want us to maybe explore is how can small business not only be consumers of energy, but also be producers of energy. In Portugal and in Europe countries where cooperatives and local communities are not only consumers of energy, but are also part of this. Because if we want our communities and our people to change and adopt alternative, cleaner technologies, clean energy, then we need to involve them. And so maybe we should just put in a paragraph there about the benefits, because the green energy, clean energy is a rising industry. Solar panels is a rising industry. And so there's also an opportunity for us not to be only consumers. And yes, we agree that we need to get some relief. I think it's a misnomer that nothing has been done. I think there is a incentive for business and households, but I think it's for the higher level, high-end households. And I think what we need is just to encourage our department to roll out what they said about support for small business development. I think the point around regulation of foreign-owned businesses is well documented, and I think it's important that we move on this. I share Honorable Zungula's concern that the labor inspectors are not enough, and we need to ensure that every business must be registered, and we must make registration simple. But no one should fall through the cracks, and there shouldn't be unregistered businesses in our country. Whether it's a small spaza shop or anything, all of these businesses must be regulated, but it mustn't be onerous, and it must be simplified. I think for me, the one other issue that I wanted to pick up was the president. I think it was 2021 or 2000. I think it was during COVID or just before COVID. The president in his own address referred to 1,000 local produced products that must be procured from SMMEs. So I think it's important that we almost segment sectors to say, okay, if a product is designated, because we also need to look at stimulating local manufacture. And manufacturing, a lot of the time now, because it's easy to just import stuff and we get cheap imports from China, we're decimating our manufacturing industry. So I think somehow we just need to have a paragraph in those just those additions. So, colleagues, overall, I think it's a good presentation with those inputs and also the request that whatever happens in the NCOP, that the report just factor the either adoption or not of the report into this report. So with that, colleagues, I want to ask, with those inputs and those amendments, can we go through the process of formally adopting this report? I see Honorable Kruger clapping hands, so I see consent. But let me invite formal submissions for movers and seconders for this report. Members?
Chair.
Oh, sorry. Let me give you a chance. My apologies. Before we do that, Mr. Gumede, over to you.
No, it's fine. Thank you very much, Chairperson. No, thank you very much, members, for the compliment. One really tried to make sure that we do justice to this process, because there is a lot of work that was done during the sixth Parliament, despite many challenges and hurdles that we went through, from the COVID-19 to the looting in KZN and Gauteng, to flooding in parts of Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. But we managed to do some work. However, there is a room for improvement, and we'll make sure that we document areas where we underperformed, so that the next or 7th Parliament ensure that those are implemented during the 7th Parliament. Chair, Honorable Zungula is raising a very pertinent point. I will make sure that I will include those in the report as well. And then he asked a question of clarity around the 30% procurement. Chair, the 30% procurement, really, it's an initiative by National Treasury again. Like we indicated at the beginning of the term, Chair, that there would be a lot of policies, legislation that resides in other government departments. But however, that are for the implementation of this particular department. If you look at the procurement bill, for instance, you would swear that it's a bill of the Department of Small Business Development, because there are a number of areas there that the department will have to, they either implement or they implement collaboratively with National Treasury. So it's going to be very important going forward that we follow up on the developments around the procurement bill. The 30% procurement, again, is a policy that was initiated by National Treasury. At the beginning, Chair, the figure was around 85%. That 85% of government products must be sourced from SMMEs and cooperatives. But for some reasons, that percentage was actually scaled down to 30%. But even that 30%, if you look at the cumulative spending of a government, which runs into trillions, the SMMEs and cooperatives are still being sidelined, which really says maybe we need a different approach in terms of monitoring how much goes to SMMEs and cooperatives, because as it stands, it doesn't even get to 20% in terms of the expenditure. So it's one issue that we need to really pay particular attention to. I will add a few more pointers, Honorable Zungula, as you've currently pointed out. The oversight visits, in the middle of the report, there are recommendations that we have made, operational recommendations that we have made. What we then did, the 20 that we are discussing now, those would be your strategic recommendations, policy recommendations for implementation by the MTSF. However, if the feeling is that maybe we should also make a recommendation around the oversight visits, the frequency, or maybe to increase the frequency, because in the body of the report, we are also observing, honorable members, that it's a concern that we are a portfolio committee that is in charge of overseeing the Department of Small Business Development and entities that offer financial assistance to its beneficiary. if the bank is doing a bank reconciliation on a daily basis, on our side, we are supposed to be doing this thing at least on a monthly basis, because we are the guardian of the government purse. So we should be doing this on a regular basis. We made an observation, honorable members, that we only did one oversight visit during this term in the Northwest Province. The fact-finding mission that we did in August 2021 was really a fact-finding mission, not necessarily an oversight, and it was also triggered by the violence that took place in the province of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. So all in all, truthfully, we only did one oversight visit during this term. I think maybe we are making a recommendation again to say this is one area that the Parliament will have to look into. The committee should conduct these regular oversight visits, like the Department of Basic Education, for instance. They do regular visits in provinces yearly without fail. I think this particular committee should also be elevated into that type of a committee of parliament where we are not told that there is no budget to conduct oversight visits. We go there like anytime we want. Honorable de Villiers, I will ensure that I expand on 15.10, because 15.10 speaks exactly to the issue of the impact of load shedding on SMMEs and cooperatives. I will expand on 15.10 as per your suggestions. Then others really, also Honorable Jacobs, in terms of the green energy, that SMMEs must also be not necessarily only consumers, but also suppliers of electricity. I will also include that under the recommendations, but that one is actually a policy issue. I understand you went to Germany, and Germany cooperatives, they do supply to a grid. That's what we should be doing here as well. But if it's not the case, maybe you are right that it's one of the issues that we need to raise. We need to look at the policy. How can we make our cooperatives supply electricity to the grids? I think it's a very good point. And also 1,000 local products produced by SMMEs and cooperatives. Yes, I remember that. I will also include it in the report under the theme of access to markets for SMMEs and cooperatives. Chair, with your permission, as indicated earlier, I will include this in the report. So your adoption of this report will be subject to incorporation of these recommendations, including the decision that will be taken by the NCOP with regards to the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gumede. We really appreciate your professionalism in terms of capturing everything that was said and also your thoughtful responses. Members, now I invite you to, with those conditions, that all of your inputs will be captured by Mr. Gumede and also the NCOP process. I invite members to move and second and support this, our report, our legacy report, which captures in great detail the work that we have done and also what we are leaving as our legacy and our recommendations. I see Honorable Hendricks. Are you moving or you still want to make inputs?
I would like to move, Honorable
Okay.
Chair. And
Please
secondly,
do.
Honorable Chair, you notice that I haven't commented. I would like to thank honorable members for their input to the legacy report. I really appreciate that they are making this contribution to the nation, and I want you, Chair, to recognize the valuable contributions of honorable members who commented on this legacy report. And obviously, the silver bullet, the first prize, goes to Mr. Kuneni for making us proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Hendricks. I'm sure you echo all of our sentiments. So there is a move for this adoption of the report. Can I get a seconder?
I do second, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Whip. I assume there's no objections. Thank you. With that, we can safely say that this report has been adopted by all of us, and we own this report with those conditions. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you for our staff. Thank you, Mr. Gumede and team, and also thank you to all of you members. Valuable inputs that you've made, and also the camaraderie and friendship that we shared over the last 5 years to produce this report. I think the next item, if we can put the agenda up, is farewell speeches. So when the staff told me that, given that this is our, before consideration and adoption of minutes, my apologies. Please flag the minutes of last week. Members, can you see the minutes? I'm not going to ask Mr. Kuneni to read it, just flight it. I think it's self-explanatory. Go up. Who was in the meeting? Opening and welcome. Apologies and the briefing from the agency CIFA. And then the first consideration of the legacy report. And the different sets of minutes from the 28th of February, 6th of March. Our deliberations. And then the resolutions and closing. Honorable members, if this is a true reflection of our last week's meeting, can I call for a mover for this minutes? Honorable Kruger.
Thank you, Chair. And this is not part of my farewell speech. I just want to propose that we accept the minutes as presented to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kruger. Honorable Muller.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to second the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you so much. So the minutes is adopted. So now we're coming to the last item on the agenda, which is farewell speeches of members. When I was told that this is an agenda item and also a way of doing things, I thought it was very novel. So what I'd like to do is, in no particular order, I want to give each member a maybe 3-minute opportunity to say their farewell speech to the department, to the portfolio committee, and also to the work that we've done. So I see Honorable Hendricks is quick on the trigger. So let me quickly just get an order so that we can get through all of us. So I've noted Honorable Hendricks first. Members, can I get an indication? I'm not going to force any member, but it would be useful if members all put their voice in their room. Honorable Kruger, you number 2. Honorable de Villiers, number 3. Where's the other hands? Honorable Muller, you number 4. Members, please, can I get indication? I don't want to call you by name, but if I'm just going to give one round. So anyone else? Okay, let's take that for first, 3 minutes each. Number one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I would like to pay tribute to the previous chair who passed on. I remember her very affectionately. She used to call me last born, and that always generated a lot of respect. And once again, my condolences to her and her family. We really appreciate the leadership that she's given. And we would like to also thank you, Honorable Chair, for taking over a very difficult job from her, but doing equally well. So we also appreciate your leadership in the last few days that this committee has left. What has stood out for me is Honorable Kruger's passion about small business and the removal of red tape. And I want to thank him for keeping the flag flying, because I know that he also went the extra mile and did a private member's poll, which unfortunately did not get the support that he deserved. But I would like to acknowledge his valuable contribution, and then also the contribution of many other members of this committee who has given a valuable comment and done oversight. And I really admire the work of every member of this portfolio committee. I am a bit disappointed that we disappointed the President of the country. In one of his first State of the Nation address, he mentioned that small business should create 1 million jobs. We have not achieved this, and we hope that the 7th Parliament will forgive us for failing the country and failing the President. It's very important that we create that 1 million jobs at the 7th Parliament from day one. Start reporting on the jobs that they are creating. And I want the jobs to be decent jobs in terms of the Convention on Decent Work that President Mandela signed. And that has a triple whammy. First of all, that when we're talking about decent work, the next president of the country must make a similar call. It could be President Ramaphosa, that there should be decent work and not jobs. We don't need jobs in South Africa. Jobs is like a social welfare thing. We need decent work in terms of the convention President Mandela signed, in which he got the first annual award, and Winnie Mandela the second annual award. So the triple whammy, and I want to conclude on this, Honorable Chair, is that there must be social benefits like medical aid, pension fund. There must be bursaries. There must also be a retrenchment pay of 1 month's salary for every completed year service. So the full range of social benefits which South Africa signed many years ago. Secondly, that decent work is when there are promotional opportunities and also opportunities for growth in a company, so that people can get shares in a company and become co-owners. So every worker should be a co-owner of the company that he works for, but he must deserve it. Productivity levels must be high, and he must make an impression. And lastly, that there are workers in companies that have entrepreneurial skills, and we feel that companies must support them. That the job must be of decent work, must be of such a nature that the workers must be assisted so that they can utilize the entrepreneurial skills and that the company that they work for must procure for them, and that will give them a solid footing in the new business that they start. So thank you very much. And once again, my appreciation to all the committee members. Your hard work has not gone unnoticed by Al Jamaa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hendricks. I've deliberately not timed yourself because I know you're the last born, so I gave you extra privileges. But number 2, over to you. Honorable Kruger.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, I will spare you a lot of time, so I'm not going to make a very long speech. I just want to say thank you to everybody in this committee, and thank you that we as committee members was adult enough to push politics aside and concentrate on the job that we have to do, and that is to develop small businesses. And thank you for Honorable Hendricks for the nice compliment as well. I will forever be passionate about red tape, and it seems like I will coming back in the 7th Parliament, so I will carry on with the job because my job is not done yet. Till the day that we minimize red tape, I will still fight it, and I will use the knowledge that this Parliament and the 5th Parliament gave me to reduce red tape. I will use it to the benefit of small businesses. I will always be passionate about it. And thank you, Chair, for your leadership in this committee as a whip and now as the chairperson. And thank you to my colleagues, Jan. I had 2 colleagues from my party. Both of them were excellent leaders in this committee. So, and everybody. I think we had a great 5 years. There's still business to be done. We're not finished with business. So let's come back the 7th Parliament and carry on with this and make sure that after the 7th Parliament, we finished with red tape and all the bottlenecks of small business so that they can become big business. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kruger. Number 3, Honorable de Villiers.
Chair, yes, thank you. Can't believe it's the end. It still feels like the beginning for me. It's the year. I mean, this term has really flown by. I would just like to echo what Honorable Hendricks and Honorable Kruger has already said, and I'm sure that the following speakers are going to say as well. You've really all been a great bunch. It's been lovely working with every single one of the colleagues. We've shuttled around in little buses across the country to do public participation. We've gone to Munich. We've done critical oversight work during the KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng emergency raid. And I think that we've learned that although we are from different parties and although we might have different perspectives, excuse me, we all genuinely share a passion for small business, and we all genuinely want the small business sector to be assisted in all the various ways. From my side, you never know where life takes you. I hope to be back in the next Parliament, and I hope to be back in this committee. But let's see how that plays out, and maybe we'll see some familiar faces back again. But it really has been a pleasure. Thank you, Chair, for your for taking over and doing it so professionally in a time which was tragic. We do think about our previous chairperson, Violet, and we do miss her a lot. We believe she's in a better place, but we also recognize your leadership and that you've taken over in a very professional manner. And I hope that every single one of you have a let's just say a good election period ahead of us, where we sit and we do the job that also matters, and that's on the ground in our constituencies. So good luck to all. And I really hope that there's blessings for every single person on this committee and all the officials that was involved. So I should not forget them. We are supported by wonderful individuals, and our committee has run smoothly. Our reports come out. So I really have to just say to every single one of the team, Mr. King, and the people that support you, we really do appreciate your work as well. Thank you, colleagues. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Honorable de Villiers. Honorable Muller, you're number 4.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'd just like to say thank you for welcoming me. I know I had a very short time with you guys, and I do feel that it was a great pity that I didn't get enough time to get some meat into the work of the committee. But it really sounds like you had a wonderful team, and you guys got along well together and did some really great work, as was evidenced in the legacy report. And I'm also sad that I didn't get to know Masiwela. She sounded like a great leader and to learn from herself. And thank you to you, Chairperson, and the rest of the committee members. And I wish the next committee well in the important work to contribute to developing this critical sector, to growing our economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Muller. I am going to invite another last round of members before we conclude. Anyone else?
If I
Honorable
can,
Zungula. Okay, so
yes,
you number. Just give me I just want to take the last round. So Honorable Zungula, you will be first. Anyone else before we close?
I'll be the second, Chair.
Lorraine.
Okay, Sis Lorraine, you'll be number 3 in this round, and Hope, you'll be the last, number 4. Sorry, number Honorable Zungula, Honorable Lubengo, and Honorable Slomelang, in that order.
Chair, I want to express my compliments in how the committee has worked, particularly the officials who have maintained a high level of professionalism and aided the committee when it comes to the research needs. I know a couple of times I would refer to them whenever I needed more information on any particular issue. And also, thank the chair, may her soul rest in peace. And also thank you for stepping up. And for all of the members, particularly on how we worked as a team. I know in many committees, the divide between parties gets to be so much to an extent that it brings tensions between committees, and committees can't focus on what is in the best interest of the country. They focus on their own partisan interest. But I think the manner in which the committee has been led by yourself and Mother Swela has made the committee to be able to focus on the work that it has to do in the best interest of the people. And for that, we just want to thank you. And we hope that even the next committee, they continue with that culture, because the guidelines in terms of what is required, the committee could be there. But if we don't have a leadership, which is the chairpersons, inculcating the culture of teamwork and working together, all of those policies or guidelines or rules, they'll come for nothing. So thank you, Chair. Thank you and thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zungula. Honorable Lubengo.
Chairperson, let me take this opportunity to thank all honorable members, the department, and the team of staff members for their work well done in this 6th Parliament. Let me also thank you all for the love and respect that you have shown in this committee for these past years. I wish you well and God bless you. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Lubengo. Honorable Slomelang.
Thank you, Chair. Let me take this opportunity to join my colleague in appreciating the team that we worked with and really indicate that we worked as a family We might come from different political parties, but we had one objective of making sure that we serve all South Africans in order to better their lives, Chair. You know, working as a collective is it's not very easy as politicians, but when I look at the time we spent together in this committee, how we raised issues, how we relate to one another, indeed, one will say we'll always miss the leadership, and we'll miss Manvi. May her revolutionary soul rest in peace. She has taught us, she has made us to be one big family. Hence, we are today, Chairperson. We also want to appreciate your role as a whip then, because there were a number of issues that you tried to bring us together, making sure that our objective is just to better the lives of South Africans. But if it was only us as politicians, we could have not managed. We must also thank the staff, our technocrats. Sometimes we will be hard on them, but not hard as one can say. We wanted things to happen because we have a responsibility to account to the people who have elected us. So we want to appreciate the team from the administration, our Secretary Braking, our content advice, all of them. Let me not mention them one by one. We want to thank them as well as the department, the minister and the deputy minister. We want to thank everybody who has contributed positively. It was my first time in Parliament, but I've learned a lot from individual members. I remember always, Honorable Kruger will say, this is not my first time in this committee. So when one was contributing, I will listen and learn as to how things are being done in Parliament. But I want to wish you well. I wish we were all coming back, but we don't have control over the systems of our political parties. And if God can make miracles that we come back, I wish that we come to the very same committee so that we can continue with what we have left. But have a lovely Easter. May the good Lord bless all of us. May we see the light. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Tlomelang, our whip. Okay, members, honorable members, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and valued stakeholders of the entire small business community. I think as we gather here today to mark the culmination of an era that spanned from 2019 to now 2024, I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude, reflections, and a vision of the future. My short tenure as the chair of the portfolio committee and also as the whip, and I share the sentiments. May Masiswela, Comrade Violet, as revolutionary soul, rest in peace. She was an icon, a living legacy. And this committee has provided a journey of profound commitment, resilience, and collective endeavor to uplift the small business sector of our beloved nation, South Africa. What is our reflections and achievements? Over these years, our committee faced a lot of challenges, unprecedented, including the global pandemic, civil unrest, and natural disasters that tested our resolve and adaptability. These obstacles, we remain unwavering in our commitment to support and empower our small business, the backbone of our economy. This legacy report that we just adopted now is a testimony to our journey and highlight the significant strides we've made. We have prioritized areas like improvement to access to finance for small business, access to markets, reducing bureaucratic red tape, and also enhancing infrastructure for businesses and premises. Throughout this rigorous oversight and stakeholder engagement and legislative processing, we endeavored to create a conducive environment for small business to flourish. We did conduct oversight, although it was very limited. We engaged with communities. I remember fondly the roadshows that we did for the Small Business Amendment Act, which was aimed at fostering fair and supportive landscape for our enterprises. This journey could have not been made possible without the dedication of our colleagues in the committee. I remember that we were on the road for about 6 weeks and we did sacrifices. We worked over weekends. And we want to thank our families actually and the commitment that was expressed and this relentless spirit of the small business community and the need for collaboration across the sectors. Your resilience, innovation, and partnerships have been the driving force behind our achievements. Looking forward, and as I bid farewell, I do so with confidence that the good foundation have been built together is robust. Yet the journey does not end here, and the pattern we shall pass on carries with the responsibility of continuing to advocate for policies that support small business, and also to ensure the implementation of our recommendations and to address the ongoing challenges of the sector. My parting words is, as we accomplish during this term, serves as a stepping stone for the future. The path ahead remains bright with possibilities of economic growth, of inclusion, of innovation, and sustainability for our small business sector. It is incumbent on all of us to continue nurturing this vital sector, advocating for supportive policies, and fostering the ecosystem that thrives on innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability. In closing, I'm reminded of our shared commitment to make South Africa a land of opportunity and also prosperous for all our people. Maybe we continue to strive for a prosperous, united, and equitable and transformed nation. Thank you for the privilege of serving alongside each one of you. May our paths continue to cross as we work for a better future for South Africa and all its people. Farewell until we meet again, and let's keep the hope, the flames of hope, perseverance, and unity brightly burning. Thank you very much, everybody. With that, I want to thank all of you,
Chair.
and if there's nothing else, we'll close the meeting. Praki?
Amen.
Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. We'll close the meeting. And again, thank you very much. We really appreciate everything all of us has done. I
Thanks,
formally
Chair.
close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
everybody.
Chair. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, honorable staff of the 6th Parliament. Nobisa, Nomta,
Yes, Praki.
Sbu, and Mr. Dodo, and most content wethu who has been very kind asilalela sibekezelela, and then sibonga kakhulu naku Mr. Mulafo esinaye namhlanje. Thank you very much. So we don't know ukuthi-ke ku-next parliament sobe sikuphi, but we hope kuzoba right. Mamulbengo and no, Ms. Klomelang, thank you very much to work with you, and then the respect that you have been giving us. Mjengana asikakabonani physically kodwa sibonga kakhulu, sithemba ukuthi now uyowafika and then you hit the ground running. Thank you very much. Umzuzana ngimbodi lana namthawuphi.
Umzuzana akekho.
Nosithola. Khona ngakusho Mr. Dodo.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Usebenza nani. It's been wonderful. And hope no, you will have a wonderful Easter week. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Hayibo intoni Nwabisa waneheart na.
Nwabisa.
Nwabisa akafuna uthetha. My prayer and hope is that siphinde sikwazi usebenzisana.
Andifuna ukuthi sesinibone noma sigcinana.
Hey Praki. Kodwa ke umthandazo wami into yoba I don't think bakhona abanye abantu endinosebenza nabo other than you, Toto, Nwabisa, and Sbu. I just pray and hope that Thixo akwazi usideploya kuloo ndawo sonkeni siphinde sisebenzisane kakuhle. Otherwise, as we are going to Easter, those who will be traveling, may the good Lord be with them and keep them safe until they come back. Yeah, well. Yes, Kebraki.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nomta. Lucanyo. And about my researcher, they don't like talking, they like writing. Lucanyo. Or buying a mapage.
Hayi, wafaka amabhaji akuse-early for ibhaji.
No, let's hope we'll stay. Noma singatravel uNkulunkulu abe nathi, whether we're traveling or not traveling. Nalaba ngatravel. Uyezwa Nomta?
Yeah.
Abe
Yeah,
nathi strong.
nama travel, so yeah, abe nathi.
Miss Tlomelanga, are you still there? Ulibanga amabhanji banolibanga. Okay, no, so thintana-ke over the phone Nomta sisesekhona thina silayiphala.
Okay.
Hello.
I was feeling you want me to leave now in hurry. You didn't want me to listen to what you were going to say. You want me to leave? I wanted to listen what it is that you were going to say.
We have been talking and you were there.
Yes, I've been listening.
And thinking. Oh, have you been listening?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for the manner in which you handled us and appreciated, because sometimes a politician, they less appreciate the officials. So thank you very much for your attitude and the manner in which you gave us respect and work to be done. So
thank you so much.
Pray that we meet, let our road cross in the next term.
God is in control. Let's leave him everything in his hands. But I'm going to leave out also because I'm preparing to go to Parliament. We have questions today. I must catch the 12:30 bus.
Okay.
All right. No, thanks so much.
Okay, sure. And I undo. What's that called? Okay, no, thank you very much, Mama, for everything you did and then the respect you gave us. And it has been nice working with you. I should think even Mr. Dodo has learned some of 2 or 3 vendor weights. Maybe, but I know that I'm better than him in terms of vendor. But I believe maybe he has learned 2 or 3 event weights. Thank you very much. Let our road cross in the next term or in the years to come.
We have shown love to us, respect. We say thank you and God bless you for this festive season. Thank you so much.
Lorebua. Kuluma Dodo.
Nda Mamulibengo.
Dodo siyabonga.
Thanks.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Ulibuka ngamandla Dodo.
Thank you, man.
Hayi.
Recording stopped.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I'm switching off now.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kunene. Thank you so much again. I appreciate everything you did to me, and I've learned some new things every time. But thank you so much. I can only say that. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks.